Hello, welcome to Popular Tripe. My name is Nick. Don't know if you're aware, but the new trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire came out 2 days ago. Who knew? Did a trailer reaction for that the other day. Instant reaction, incoherent reaction, I think. It was very much say what you see and missed loads. When I was doing the edit for the video, I suddenly saw extra bits, extra scenes, things I hadn't noticed before that I didn't get to talk about. So, to that end, I thought I would do a quick breakdown of the trailer, analyse it scene by scene. I'll try not to make the video too long, don't want to outstay my welcome. I know there are plenty of other breakdowns that have gone up online already. Haven't gone near those yet because I didn't want to be paraphrasing anything that I'd already seen. But even though I haven't got round to watching them yet, and I do intend to watch them pretty much as soon as I finish editing this, I think you should probably go to Ghostbusters News if you haven't already. I know Jason's already done a breakdown. The Yes Have Some guys did their breakdown a night or two ago as well. Gutted I haven't been able to watch that one yet. And I know podcast-wise we've got the Interdimensional Cross-Rip are going to be doing something very soon. And I'm sure Jim from Extraplasm Podcast will have some very good conversation about this on his next episode too. So check out those guys. But if you do want to stay with me for the next 10, 15 minutes, however long this video takes, that'd be much appreciated. So let's not waste any more time. Done enough of that already. In fact, no, let's waste a little bit more time. I got some post through today. Let's just do this quickly. Haven't even taken it out the cellophane yet, so I don't know if you can see. In fact, let's unwrap. Hopefully the light's not going to bounce off it. I'm assuming it will. Got a Japanese Ghostbusters Laserdisc. I don't even have a Laserdisc player. I just thought this looked incredible. And it's just another one to add into the collection. It's not going to fit on the shelf, so I suspect I have to keep it with my soundtrack albums until I've got the display. But yeah, got one of these. Okay, showed that off. Let's dive straight into the trailer. If you saw my trailer reaction from a couple of days ago, you'll know I'm very much in love with this already. It was always going to happen. I have watched this a stupid amount of times now, but let's do it again. Let's give it a deeper dive. Not that deep. I mean, look who you're dealing with. Leave a like on this video if you can. Share, comment, all that stuff. Let's do it. Yeah, again, Banana Armour, Cruel Summer. Loving these New York shots. Reminds me very much of the opening scene of Die Hard 3 with Summer in the City. Just busy New York and then the big explosion. We've got a similar thing here. Coney Island. Fairground breaking down.
What is that?
The big ice cloud. I'm kind of wondering if this is the introduction to the film, the pre-title intro that we got with the first two films. But with the first two films we had that initial setup, didn't we, with the library ghost teased and we didn't know what we were going to get. And then the second one we had the slime coming out the pavement, setting the theme for the rest of the film. Afterlife went on a slightly different tack with it, where it was an exciting intro but ended on a very sombre tone as those titles sort of slowly appeared. I'm wondering whether this scene, this Coney Island beach scene, with all the icicles bursting out of the sea and out of the shoreline onto the beach, whether this could be the intro to the movie. I can imagine this happening and it kind of fading as you hear that Ghostbusters theme, Ray Parker Jr.'s theme, kicking in before we get to the title. That would be a good intro to where we could be at. But time will tell on that. I'm already getting excited and thinking of what ifs, which I'm sure you might be too. The next scene we get that huge ice cloud descending over the city, lightning bolts hitting the Freedom Tower, and already it just feels on a different scale to the others. The ice coming out the ground, the taxi lifting up, and then coming up to the firehouse. It feels darker already. And the fact that we've had ghosts before and it's been scary and there's been jump scares and we've seen all these like spectres flying about, this one feels like the first time that people are getting hurt. Those icicles coming out of the ground and kind of just spreading across and bursting through the floor of the firehouse that we'll see shortly do some real damage. Obligatory wicked shot of Ecto-1.
first time in
Patton
New York
Oswalt.
history.
And we had Finn there with Lucky and James Acaster's character. Looks like he's part of the team. From what I've read from the synopsis and what I'm guessing, he looks like he could be part of like the Ghostbusting science team that's modding up all their equipment, and we'll go on to that a little bit later. Yeah, and we saw the dead body there with a spike come through it. And chatting to Matt from the Proton Pack is Not a Toy, check out his channel, he seemed to think that that body with the icicle all the way through it, that dead body frozen there, looked to be in some sort of period clothing. So we were kind of wondering whether that was maybe a flashback scene, whether this is pointing to something that's happened previously. Didn't quite get to see who the person was that was walking up to it, whether they were in modern attire or not. In fact, scratch that, looking at that again, the person looking at the body seems to have some sort of cowboy hat or Stetson or something on his head, and another sort of big tash as well. So Matt could well be right with that theory.
Froze to death.
First look at Callie.
What is it?
The death chill.
Ray with the death chill, the man that's telling us everything that we need to know. It's great seeing him back, and then obviously we get Winston and Peter as well, and then the lion coming to life. I said in my trailer reaction that I thought it was very reminiscent of the episode of The Real Ghostbusters at Mrs. Rogers' Neighbourhood, and I've seen since a few other people make that same comparison. And there has been a lot of people saying, and I thought much the same after watching the trailer, when I was doing the edit and watching the trailer again, this feels very much like a live action version of The Real Ghostbusters. As far as how wild and far out there the TV show could go in terms of having animation as its tool, and kind of know you could essentially draw what was in your head. Very little limits to do with it. And here, technology's come that far that we can very much do the same now. And it has that feel, just that fantastical feel about it. And so I'm very much on board with this is what we're kind of getting with it, at a feature-length live-action Real Ghostbusters type adventure. And then, funnily enough, yesterday, Kumail Nanjiani posted on Twitter. Now that the actors' strike is finally over, he was able to tweet promoting the film with the first tweet that said, "Ghostbusters was my first favourite movie. I remember the first time I watched it, it felt like someone had made a movie just for me. Anyway, here's the trailer for the Ghostbusters movie that I am in." But then he followed that up with a second tweet, which was really interesting, where he said, "Also, I'm a huge fan of The Real Ghostbusters, the animated series, and the show was a point of reference for this movie. The filmmakers want to make a long episode of the animated series, so if you love that show as I do, be excited." So that's amazing to hear, and yes, I am excited. We get some scenes showing the threat, ice covering surface areas, and Patton Oswalt sounding like he's giving them some sort of history lesson, almost telling them about a time where this could have happened before, which could tie in to the flashback with the body with the ice through it, if he's telling the story and we get some flashbacks of it actually happening. And it could well be that they're in the New York Public Library doing some research. Jumping back to that scene with the lion, at first I thought that looked like James Acaster in front of it, but it could be Ray. It was a blurred shot of the figure that was cowering in front of it, but the clothes were matching what Ray was wearing in that initial scene that we saw. And talking of clothes, it looks like it was the same denim jacket that he was wearing in the original film. So his fashion sense hasn't changed so much in the last 40 years. But hey, I can speak to that. A couple of people on Twitter actually pointed that out and kind of had side-by-side screenshots. Funny enough, there was an article online the other day via primermagazine.com where they'd done some research as to where to find Ray's wardrobe from the first film. So it's funny, that came out before the trailer. We've got another window into where to get some more Ghostbusters wardrobe. I'm enjoying where this is going just lately. There seems to be a lot more focus recently in terms of what clothing they wore out of the jumpsuits. I know we got the Dixon's flannel shirt that recently got released over the last month. And then the guys at Magnolia obviously doing their clothing. I've got the Venkman hunting jacket on here, if you didn't notice. Why didn't you notice? I'm going through all this effort, why didn't you notice? Getting sidetracked again. But I'll put the link to that primermagazine.com article down in my description. So take a look at that if you want to have a look yourself. Let's carry on. So yeah, the death chill, the power to kill by fear itself. And like I said, I'm loving it that it's Ray explaining it to everyone. Feels very much like that scene outside the museum in Ghostbusters 2 where Ray and Egon are giving everyone the SP about Vigo. And then we get the doors exploding in the firehouse, ice creeping in. And we get the first hint of, I think it's the first hint, of the modded backpacks. There was a freeze frame that I took where you could see the yellow bar across the back of the Proton Pack. And yesterday there were a lot of posts about a YouTuber, Emulation, that was lucky enough to visit the set last June with a couple of other influencers. Not jealous, not jealous. But to that end, they were wearing the new Proton Packs and the new Neutrona ones, and we got some real good, clear looks at the modifications that were made. Again, I will put the link to Emulation's video down below. I know I'm using her clips here, so do check out the full video. I think it's about a quarter of an hour long. We've got some other looks at the set, Razor Cult, slime blowers, all sorts, so do check out her video. Firehouse getting completely decimated by these icicles popping up and everyone getting trapped behind them. And that wall of the containment unit, I think it's completely gone. And then our first shot, we think, of the big bad. Plugging horns into their head. Again, there was a note in the synopsis about an ancient artifact that was disturbed that brought about this kind of new threat. And you have to wonder whether the spirit needed this to come alive, become a corporal sort of entity. Whether plugging those horns in was part of that. Here we get another good clear shot of James Acaster. Callie with turtleneck underneath the jumpsuit. It's a good look. And then we've got Patton Oswalt there again, slamming the lift shut. And he's got Ray with him and Podcast and Phoebe. And I think this precedes the scene that we've seen before where they're diving into the history of what the threat is. I do think it's going to be the New York Public Library that we're in here. Then there's Kumail Nanjiani. I don't think we've got a character name. We haven't got any character names, have we, for the new guys yet? But with Lucky and Trevor, and it looked like some sort of storeroom, so I'm not sure where they're going there. And then we're cutting to Lucky. Ironic name, really. The last film, she got turned into a terror dog and then encased in a statue afterwards. Here, it looks like she's come face to face with a threat and is getting completely frozen over. That close-up of the eyeball with the ice going over it.
Like, literally scared to death?
So cool.
See, I think that's two scenes cut together there for the sake of the trailer. Literally scared to death and that's so cool. They're different scenes. Still works for me in the trailer though. And then we get Trevor lighting it up. Nice. And then the title, Freezing. And our look at the big bad. Then that shot at the end there. With everything that we've seen, last 2 days' discourse has just been everyone going, where can I get that red coat? I want that red coat. Lots of people posting different versions of the coat that they think might be the right one, costs of which are ludicrous.
I have no idea to be so much I won't pay it.
Do want one of those red coats. There was somebody else that's pointed out online. You can tell I've just been pouring through online the last couple of days, just sharing the excitement and the joy about what we've seen here. But it's been such a fun time having something new like this, and everyone kind of in this Ghostbusters community just being so excited about it and just sharing what they found out and the joy of all of that. I've just loved every minute of it so far. But yeah, we need the red coats. Okay, we need the red coats. This was a perfect teaser trailer. I can't fault it one bit. It gives you everything that you need. It gives you the threat. It gives you the guys, both teams, old and new, but it's not telling you everything. It gives you enough for you to start joining dots and to get excited about what could be, but it's still not giving too much away. Questions I do have. Not necessarily questions even, they're just kind of things I'm wondering whether, are we going to get this, or how's this explained? We still don't know how the guys, the new team, Phoebe and her family and Trevor, and then how Lucky and Podcast come along for the ride, how they all get to come to New York. My previous theory was that Phoebe has some sort of scholarship to Columbia University and a tie in there. That's the kind of hope. Or is it a case that once Winston gets things started up again, he thinks they've earned it, and he gives them that opportunity to come to New York and come to work as a Ghostbuster. The whole team's here, and I'm completely for it. Team Ghostbusters. Lots of people asking whether we're going to get Slimer. You have to wonder. I remember Jason Reitman saying, when people complaining there was no Slimer in Afterlife, he was like, well, he's from New York. He's in New York. Why would it be all the way over there? So to that end, I suspect we're going to see him again. And I think maybe, you know, with all the real Ghostbusters sort of connections that people are talking about at the moment, we could get a lot more of him than normal. It'll be interesting to see what design they go for, whether they go for like the original Onion Head, or they go for the more cartoon-like, child-friendly Slimer we saw in Ghostbusters 2. Or will it be something new, a newer version, maybe a combination of the two? I'm intrigued to see it, because I still do think they'll go down that route of having it animatronic, or someone in an outfit that they'll kind of alter a bit later. There's a lot of CGI here, obviously, with all the ice effects and everything. But in terms of the ghosts, I do feel like they're going to keep that original aesthetic of having them sort of tangible and real and not too sort of shiny and CGI. The charm of those original films is very much in those effects. And I know you probably couldn't get away with a lot of those these days, although they still do stand up when we watch those original movies. It was very pleasing in Afterlife that they still kept to that way of working. So I suspect there's going to be nothing different this side. I think that's it for now. We didn't see another character that I know is in the film. I won't give it away, but I suspect he's maybe still picking at that fruit basket that Venkman said he was going to get him. That gave it away, didn't it? That gave it away. But I wonder what their involvement will be in the film and how that all fits in as well. I said I was going to make this quick and not overstay my welcome. I think I've been recording for like 45, 50 minutes now, so I have no idea how long it is when I present this to you. But I think I will call it a day. I will wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching, if you are still here. If you did enjoy this video, please do me a big favour. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. If you are, appreciate you. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking about the film. Are you liking what you're seeing so far? What do you think about any of the points that I've made in this video already? Looking forward to discussing it further with like-minded fans. But until next time, which I hope will be soon, again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you come back soon. Bye.